So I just watched a video from Wayne the Boat Guy, on YouTube. He sent me a motor a month ago, and it's just been sitting here. And I watched his video about it today, and the sunk cost fallacy problem with these things. When you're a couple $100 into a boat, and you're like, well, I don't want to lose that money. Let me just keep sinking more money into it. And at the end of the day, you have an old boat with a bunch of money into it, but it's not worth what you put into it. And that is a common problem with boats. The only people making money off boats are repair shops that you pay to fix your boat. If you're going to be a boat flipper, you're barking up the wrong tree, because these things ain't worth nothing. This boat I bought because the trailer wasn't too bad. It had a motor with some good accessories on it. Not that bad. Usually I'd pay $500 for something like this. He wanted $7. I way overpaid. So does that mean I care more about it? I'm buried into it? And no, I think this thing is just as junky if I paid $7 or $500 for it. I have no attachment to this thing other than how quickly can I get rid of it. And you're looking at it, you're like, that's not a bad looking boat from the rear here. You could probably get more for it. Well, nobody was going to pay $700 I did, because it was for sale for so long. There's no way, now with no motor, I'm going to get even close to what I paid for it. But that's okay, because the accessories that were on it that I needed/wanted were worth more than the boat. So I'm slapping a motor onto it. We're going to go play with it for a day, and then off to the dump it goes. You may be thinking that's a silly waste. That's a good boat. Somebody could use that thing. Well, maybe, but in my experience, if I'm giving it away, it'll be gone in no time. If I'm trying to sell it for a couple $100, it'll be here forever. And I don't know, I guess it's just something I've kind of done as time goes on and stop caring about these pieces of junk. And the same thing goes with motors. A lot of motors I treat like the junk they are. And occasionally people get mad at me like, oh, you could have fixed that. Of course I could have. For how many hundreds of dollars am I going to put? And hours and hours of time am I going to put into fixing this one problem on this motor that isn't worth that much? So you need to find a way to distance your feelings away from boats. But it doesn't only go with boats for me, it's cars too. People look at new cars like I see friends and family and stuff like, oh, you've bought a new car, congratulations. In no way, shape, or form do I think somebody should be congratulated on strolling down to the dealer and buying a new car. There's no, other than, the loans they hand out, you basically fog a mirror, you're getting a loan for a car, You can fog a mirror, you got a car, congratulations. I don't know why people congratulate. And people get really proud of their trucks. I was watching this thing on Netflix about a young kid that shot his dad, and his lawyer, every scene the lawyer's driving around his F-250 or whatever it was. He's so proud of this piece of junk truck. It's not going to last forever. I don't know, put your pride into something else other than something you bought. And I think that goes for me in these boats, people will say oh, what do you do with that boat? Take it to the dump. People are like, well, that's a good boat. No, it's not. It's an old piece of junk. You have no idea how junky this thing is. The owner claimed it had a new transom put on it. Given the plate of aluminum, I doubt that's the case. The floor is solid enough to, be safe. But I started vacuuming it. That's where I started vacuuming it. Carpet's just coming up. So it needs carpet. And you can see the transom wasn't done that good. You can't right now. All of that, it's delaminating itself. So the transom doesn't really have that much time left on it. Seats are 20 plus years old. It came with a bunch of oars. Each one of these oars has a price tag of $4 on it. So what good are those? It's an open bow boat, but the guy was doing some fishing, wanted a fishing platform, so he screwed down this piece of plywood to it. So you know, there's no seats underneath, so you'd either need to fix whatever's going on here or reupholster the front seats or get and upholster front seats. You know, what's an upholstery shop? Let's say you get lucky and it's $500. You're already too much money into this piece of junk boat. And like putting on the trolling motor, he cut down the rub rail so the trolling motor would fit. Well, let's say you didn't want this big ugly trolling motor on the front of your boat. Now your rub rails don't match up. We have a fish finder here with a broken mount, no fish finder, and bad cables, so the fish finder's gone. But we have a huge hole where that fish finder once was. So is the next one going to mount the same way and hide all the imperfections of the hole? No, but you know, hope. And even then, let's say nobody was going to do fishing and don't want a fish finder mounted on the front of their passenger compartment. Then you got a huge hole you got to deal with. This boat was never designed to have a trolling motor, you know, screwed to the top of the bow here. So we have all of these stress cracks to where somebody was pushing this thing up and down for so long. Like, you know, that's a problem. The bow stop here, bow eye, I guess you call it, it's coming off. So you're going to have to find a way to get in there and fix that. And good luck with that one. We have a common winch roller setup. Let me pause this here. So let's say you're a lawyer driving around your F-250, right? I'm going a little too fast because you're a lawyer and get away with tickets. You slam on the brakes, okay? These 30-year-old 1-inch ratcheting straps, they're going to fail. So let's pretend the bow is not, or the rear of the boat's not strapped down at all. Since the roller and the winch are mounted lower, this entire boat now has forward momentum, and there's nothing there to stop it from going up and over, and off it goes, right into the back of that new truck. So just on the front 2 feet of the work, we're already re-engineering their bow stop. We're fixing the bow eye. We're fixing the fiberglass of the trolling motor, and we're patching holes. That's in the first 2 feet, right? And then you go the next 4 feet. We're now reupholstering seats, fabricating and reupholstering seats. On the other side of that steering wheel, we have a bunch of switches that aren't labeled that does who know what. So that's all getting patched. The power trim and tilt system it had on here had a large switch screwed into the dashboard. So on the other side of the steering wheel, there's a huge hole. That would need to get fixed and patched. So you're talking about electrical work and fiberglass work and patchwork. Seats are hard as a rock and old. And then you need flooring throughout the entire thing. Bilge pump hose, good and rotted, so we need a new bilge pump. Steering, it's a little stiff, but it works for now. Bimini top is old and faded. Its fabric isn't really soft and pliable anymore. It's pliable and it's soft, but you can tell it's pretty firm. So we don't have much time left in our Bimini top. The trailer is titled, so we're good there. We have these crappily welded on little side bunks, like really a joke, so fixing or removing those. The tires are old, so we're going to need tires. We're probably going to need wheel bearings. It's got an old axle on it and a weird center pattern, so you know we're probably getting a new axle for it. Trailer is old. It's going to need bunks. It's going to need carpet, registration. Lights don't work. It's going to need lights, or at least fix what's there. And of course, we didn't have an engine that worked. So all in all, this boat, it is junk. It's going to cost way too much money to fix it up. Like, it's just not worth it. However, it's got a deep V profile on the rear of the boat. I've never owned a boat that does that, so I'm interested to see how the performance goes of this thing. That's the only reason I'm slapping on this running motor, is to see how it feels, if you will. Yeah, tires are good enough, so let's head out. These are some safety chains, let me tell you. Oh, so we were about to take the boat out, but little problem with the fuzz, so ain't doing the funny. So we're gonna wait on that one for a little bit, you know what I mean? All right, looking at eye level here. Boat's going great. What do you think, Faye? You like it? Why is there a windshield? To give you the illusion like it's doing something.
I want to swim. Maybe it's a little bit deep.
Oh, it's deep. Do you want me to throw you in?
I know.
No?
Do you want to jump in?
But I just want to.
Sissy, do you want to swim?
I want to swim. I want to swim. I want to swim.
I was actually thinking about asking you what you think of the boat. Do you like it?
Yes.
Do you like that it has a seat and you're not sitting on the floor like other boat?
Yes.
But it's a very tiny boat.
No, hey, this boat. This one
How
is-
do you like it, sis?
Oh,
like the
she's,
boat?
look at her. She's loving her little chair. Well, they decided it'd better swim back than take the boat back. So obviously they don't care too much for it. So funny story. I get my buddy to launch and I'm in the boat. So, you know, I drive away, he drives away when the boat floats off. And I was like, all right, Ryan, unhook me. And he came over, he's like, okay. I can't. It's like, what do you mean you can't? Unhook the bow strap. He's like, I can't. So he then pointed out, no matter which way you go, you hit the boat. Just silly. So what he wound up doing was driving into the water more so that, you know, the trailer is completely submerged, and then I float the boat forward a few inches and he's able to unclick it. But it was just funny. And you see all these dents and stuff? Then we come under the boat and we see more damage to the hull there. That's purely from that winch handle hitting it over the years. It's just hilarious. Second thing we discovered was that the driver foot area, the entire floor just does this when you're moving. It's hilarious. And then as Ryan was getting in and out of it, he pointed out that there's two different levels here. So you have the floor and then it levels down and then continues on. I noticed the same thing goes back there. So this purple, it then drops down and continues on. And then we have new fiberglass attaching to the old transom there. See what I mean? The new fiberglass onto the floor. So what they did was put a new sheet of plywood on top of the old rotten floor and called it good. And then as far as, well, let me back up. So when I was looking at this thing, I kind of knocked on it with something, probably that Aura sitting there. I'm like, well, it feels pretty solid. He's like, oh yeah, I got a new floor and I got the transom redone. Now that could have been in, you know, the 90s, so I didn't really care, to be honest. That wasn't any value. I didn't look past that. But no, the transom was never redone. That's all factory. What he did for the floor was just put a new piece of plywood over the rotten floor. And then the transom was just reinforced with this aluminum plate there. And then the same thing on the rear. But then I noticed this. So this is a cut in the aluminum that goes all the way past over here. Reason being is because of the little transducer here, or the sounder, or the chirper, whatever they call this thing, and then the speed wheel. So whoever did the transom here couldn't be bothered to remove these wires and then just drill a hole and reinstall. So what they did was they cut this slot into it so that they could take the transom and slide it over the wires to where it goes. Like, I mean, that's just hilarious. And then, you know, obviously you fill it with silicone because silicone fixes everything. So it really is just funny. I do like the drain plug though. I like that screw-on kind rather than the you know, the expanding rubber kind. You need a wrench to get it in and out. Yeah, there's that. And then if you lose it, you're not going to find one at the gas station. So there's that. But, you know, it's a stout drain plug. What I do like is how well this works. I mean, this works great. Like, I really like this thing. Now, ride performance, as far as the shape of the hull, it really isn't that much better. Like, it's okay, I guess, in good chop, but it's not really that great. This boat is a little longer, a little lighter, but it is much smoother than other things. I mean, this boat is nearly a flat bottom boat. Like, it should not be smoother than that deep V there. But it really is. I don't know if it's length. It's not weight. This thing's lighter, but it's just a better boat, I guess. But it's not really, because the way it's built, like you can see, like right here, the carpet's just starting to fail. And when that time comes, like, this thing's gonna be a nightmare to replace. Carpet, not so much. The wood, oh, it's gonna be a nightmare. Because this isn't the bottom of the boat. That's a little sub deck. It's just gonna be a nightmare to get that out of there. So even this boat, it's good now, but once it gets a little worse, it's not gonna be that good. This is the worst idea ever. After a days of use, the seat starts coming apart here. And this one's not so bad. Nobody sat really in that one much. But yeah, the seat's coming apart. As I drive on today's tasks, I go down the roads I frequent, picking up the junk I'm tired of looking at. Like that TV body. You know, you kick it over first to make sure there's no snakes or anything in there. What's going on here? Need help? You okay? You need something? You what? You need some help? Now, I've learned a lot about selling things in my time, selling things on the internet anyway. If you put something up for sale and you get a message or a couple of messages first day, you're gonna sell it. Now, if you don't, you know, let's say your price is too high, that could be the case, but if it's still a desirable item, whoever wants it's gonna shoot you an offer like, you know, you're crazy, but I'll pay you this much. Or you'll get, if it's a desirable item, you'll even get, you know, way low ball offers. So, you know, you're gonna get messages either way. So when I listed this thing for sale, $20, it's a good price for a boat, I'd say. No trailer, but, you know, $20 for the boat haul. No takers, not a single message. You sit on it for a few days and then you change it to free. No messages. So nobody wants this junk. So again, someday, at some point, somebody will see it and say, oh, I'd like to have that, and then come take it for free or buy it. But that's going to take way too long, and I ain't got that kind of time. So off to the dump it goes. Now, I've been thinking about doing like some parody videos where I like take other popular creators that I like, not even popular, just other creators that I like on YouTube, and then kind of doing a style parody on their video format, just for fun. So I think I'm going to be doing that on the legalities of throwing a boat away at the dump. So I think I'll go make that video, upload it the next day after this video. That way anybody watching this video will understand why I'm doing that video. Hopefully, I don't know, I have ideas on like what to do for my parody videos. The thing is, I'm not that creative or good at video editing, so it may not come off that great, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Looks like I'm being tailgated by a trash truck. Wonder where he's going. Where he's going. This 30-mile road leads to the dump. There's our campers. He probably got that jet ski at the dump. Really should take it there. Yeah, so they were being a little weird right now. Usually I would have filmed this. But the guy's like, alright, let's hook it up the tractor. Like, no, there's a $25 fee for that. I'm just going to push it off. Like, well, how? Like, oh, I got a little chain fall. No, you can't use that here. What are you talking about? I can't use that here. He's like, well, we know if the chain breaks, it can come back and kill you. I mean, I guess it could, but I doubt it. There's not that much pressure on it. So I just started winching the boat off the trailer while he's over there on the radio calling everybody you can think of. And he comes back up. He's like, okay. It turns out if you had another vehicle with the winch on it and you're using that vehicle to pull it, it may break, and that's what we don't allow. Mind you, I'm halfway off the trailer at that point. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is cool? Yeah. Well, good to know, thanks. I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, so once it's about halfway off the trailer, you just push the nose of it up. It goes backwards, you drive away, and you're left with an empty trailer. This thing rides so much better without the boat on it. So these, yeah, they're probably fine. They're not going anywhere. Yeah, perfect. They say there's 2 good days of owning a boat. The day you buy it and the day you sell it. I would argue that, because I mean, I really didn't want to buy this thing anyway, but you know, needed some parts. So I would say there's 1 good day of boat ownership, and that's the day you take it to the dump. Because now we have a nice canoe trailer, or maybe a quad trailer if you wanted. You know, you could put some angle iron across the side, come out to the front, come back over this way, and then some 2x6 decking. You're gonna cut the tongue down, put on a 2-inch trailer ball, just completely ditch that 1 7/8. And then you also have the advantage of this is a tilt trailer. So, you know, you can pull the pin out. And she tilts. So, a lot easier to load your quad and whatnot. Just put it on there. I guess if you wanted to get fancy, you know, you could put some kind of little, you know, cork jack here to push this down to pull this up. And then you could, you know, have a controlled tilt. A lot of options with the old used trailer. And since the axles, at least most of the boat trailers I've seen, the axle sits in this cradle, so you have this piece of angle iron here that's bolted to the trailer body itself, so you can unbolt it and you can slide the wheels back and kind of get the perfect balance here after. Also, these side rails, they got to go because you can see they're a joke. They're already bending that, so those are going. But you know, get a good trailer out of it in the end. Now, I know some people are looking at that boat, oh my God, I can't believe you threw that thing away. You know, somebody could have used that, yada, yada. As I explained, how long was I going to be sitting on that piece of junk for before somebody wanted it? It's an old fiberglass boat. It's a piece of junk. Everything inside of it needs to be replaced. You know, seats, upholstery. The windshield didn't even close. And when you're sitting in it, that windshield is 1 inch from your face. So if you hit, you know, a good wake, you're smacking the windshields. But anyway, so not only that, you need well, rip out the old flooring, replace the probably stingers, floor, and transom in that thing. It's just so much work, and it's just not worth it. A lot of people see an old boat haul and they try to sell it for, you know, way too much. I put a value of a boat, an old boat like that, $100, because everything inside of it needs to get replaced. Boats, they sit out in the sun, they rot, and they turn to junk. There's really no value in it, and getting emotionally attached to a boat, in my opinion, is just silly. Look at it as a piece of junk. When it turns into a piece of junk like that, you're going to enjoy taking it to the dump and then making something good out of its trailer. And Wayne the Boat Guy, if you watch this, thanks for everything. You're doing a great job. Keep on trucking. Is there an alternative to keep on trucking? I mean, you could say keep on boating, but keep on floating, Wayne.